Hey friends, we are here in chapter 7 and we're looking at section 7.6, percent of change. The vocabulary words, we've got five vocabulary words. We're going to just focus on three and I'm going to go over the other couple, or maybe there is three extra ones after this, whatever. The first one is percent of change. It really is just a ratio that compares the change in a quantity to the original amount. So let's say we were watching The Biggest Loser or something and you see that somebody came in at 200 pounds one week and then the next week they came in at 185. So the amount change is 15 pounds, but the percent of change would be 15 as it compares to the 200. So it actually ends up being about 7.5%. And that's something we'll calculate later. So percent of change is the ratio, again, of the amount of change to the original amount. And in the case we just talked about, if somebody came in at The Biggest Loser and weighed 200 pounds, then the next week they weighed 185 pounds, 185 pounds, then that would be a percent decrease. That would be this term right here. It's when the percent change is negative because the weight has gone down. If somebody comes in weighing 200 and they had a bad week and they ended up weighing 203 pounds, that would be a percent increase. We would look at the 3 compared to the 200, so the change compared to the original as a percent increase. So that's really all that's going on here with your vocabulary. The other three terms, I just call them terms to know because I feel like you know these and I don't want to write definitions for them because I think that they're kind of common sense. The first term is markup. The word markup refers to when a store will purchase goods from a factory or from some other company and then sell it to us. What they do is they have to mark up the price. So if a smartphone made in another country costs literally $40 to make, let's say, the markup is the additional amount of money that they're going to charge. The markup is the additional amount of money that they're going to charge, so they mark it up. Sometimes they mark it up by a percentage, sometimes they mark it up in general just by doubling the price. I'm sorry, my kid was, I was like, is he going to start talking? All right, good. Selling price. So the selling price is the cost that it costs the company to purchase the particular item plus the markup price, right? So that's the price that we purchase it for. So let's go back to our example of our cell phone that takes $40 to make in another country, and then they add on $60. Now they're selling it for $100. So the markup was $60. And then the selling price would be $100. And of course, we're familiar with this last term called the discount. Discount is great. Oftentimes, when a product isn't selling in a store, they will discount the price to give us some incentive to purchase it. So discount is when you're taking away some of the selling price. All right. So I think that these, like I said, I think these words are familiar to you. If you feel like you need a definition and you really want something written down, let me know and I can redo the video for you if you'd like. All right, our first example, find the percent of change. So here we're looking at, we're going to find the percent of change from 60 degrees to 84 degrees. Then state whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease. For these types of problems, I really do like to use our percent proportion. So I'm going to start off with part over whole is equal to percent over 100. And the part that we're talking about is going to be the change. It's going to be the change. The difference from the original to the new, the change. And then the whole is going to really be the original in this case. So that's how we're going to handle problems like this. So let's see how it works for this particular problem. Find the percent change from 60 degrees. This is our original. This is going to be considered the whole that we're comparing to, okay? As you guys know that 100 is always going to be here. We are looking for the percent, so I'm going to put an X here. And then now we're not going to put 84 at the top. What we're going to do is find the change. The change is a positive increase of 24. So we're comparing the change to the original amount, 24 is to 60, as X is to 100. You know how we solve these. We cross multiply, we do our thing. So we get 2,400 when I multiply these guys together. Boom. And that's equal to 60X over here. And then now I'm going to solve for X by dividing both sides by 60. And when I do that, boom, boom, I get 40. So what I realize is that there was a 40% change in the temperature. So that's why we have 40% there. All right, so I guess now the question is this an increase or decrease? And I hope that you guys see, yeah, going from 60 to 80, that is definitely an increase. So it is a percent increase. And if you have this value and you want to put plus beside it to indicate percent increase, I'm totally down with that. All right, let's take a look at another example. If we see here in example 2, it says find the percent of change again. You have 315 magic cards, and you now, hi sweetie, and you now, all right, one moment. Okay, so we've got, you have 315 magic cards and now you have 276. Find the percent of change and determine if it is an increase or decrease. I think the easiest thing to answer these questions is whether it's an increase or decrease. If you started off with 315 and you've got 276, it's definitely a decrease. I'm going to put a minus down here. That's going to indicate my answer. Son, scram, kiddo. All right, so we're going to find the difference. We've got 315 and we're going to subtract 276. Remember what we're doing. We're going to do a version of part over whole is equal to percent over 100, but it's going to be change over original, right? Original is equal to percent over 100. And so the change, the difference, is going to be given if we subtract these guys from one another. And we can see that that change is 39. And so the change in the amount of magic cards is 39. So you lost 39 magic cards. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Your original amount was 315. And so now we need to figure out what percentage was gained, or really we know that this is not working right. What percentage was lost? So we're going to cross multiply. When we do that, we get 3,900 is equal to 315x. We're going to divide both sides by 315, and when I do that, let's see what I got. 315. When I do that, x is equal to something in the neighborhood of 12.4, I think, 12.38 to be more precise. So we've got 12.38% is what we're looking at. So the answer is you've lost 12.38 or 12.4% of your magic cards. Somebody ought to be upset with you. All right, so this is definitely a loss. That was our minus sign that I had over here. I'll throw it in front of here. All right, let's see if we've got one more really good example, or do I've got 2 more examples coming up, which is cool. So let's check out this next example, example 3. Find the selling price. Find the selling price if a store pays $42 for a pair of rollerblades and then marks it up 25%. So basically what happens, this is an example of the markup where the store purchases it for one price and they're going to give it to us to another price. So we're finding the selling price if we know that an additional 25% will be added on. So one way we could do this, there's going to be 2 methods. I'm going to call this method 1. I'll put M1 here for method 1. And what we'll do is we'll calculate what is 25% of 42, right? Which makes total sense. You know, we've got the 100 here. X. I had a student ask me if I could reduce this because they knew that 25 over 100 was really 1 over 4. That's perfectly fine. That'll make your cross multiplication and all of that stuff much easier. So we could do that. I'm going to just go straight away and do exactly the way we do this here. 25 times that is going to be like 1,050. I think that's right. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 100. And when I do that, I get that x is equal to 10.5. So right now it looks like $10.50 is being added onto the original price. So 10.5 is the markup amount, right? And then I'm going to, so this is the first step. I have to do that. And then the second step is to go back and take $42, add the $10.50, and I get that I'm going to be spending $52.50 if I go to the store to buy these rollerblades. Now here's the second method that I wanted to tell you about. We alluded to this in maybe a video, maybe 1 or 2 videos ago. The way we can do this is by saying, well, look, I know I need to figure out what is 25% of 42, but I also, in addition, need to add that on to the original amount. So technically, I need to figure out what is 125% of 42. Does that make sense? You kind of remember this? And we could take many different routes, but what I'm going to probably do is say, all right, well, I know that the answer to this is going to be 1.25. Remember, this is the decimal version of the percentage times the whole, which is 42. So I can take 1.25 times 42, and in one felt swoop, I get $52.50. So I get my answer very quickly. Both ways are acceptable. Both are fine. This one is just a little bit more direct. Okay? All right. And that's it for example 3. Let's look at example 4. We're going to find the sale price. A store is having a sale and will sell a volleyball originally priced at $59 for $65 off. Find the sale price of the volleyball. We're not looking for the discounted amount. We're looking for the sale price. How do we do that? Well, let's think. 100% of the price is the original. If I take 65% off, I'm going to be left with 35%. Okay? And so this is the amount that I'm paying. So this is the amount to be paid. And here, this is the discount. So a really quick, easy way of doing this type of a problem is to take your 59 and calculate what 35% of that is, because that's just going to be my new price. So I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to take 59, multiply it by 0.35, and I'll get my answer. And that answer is $20. Sorry about that again. This looks really bad. $20.65. So this is the final cost. So let's go back through what we did. If I'm taking 65% off, that means I'm leaving 35% on, and that's the amount that I'm going to pay. I chose to use the percent equation where we multiply the whole times the decimal version of the percent. We could have done the percent proportion. That would have been fine as well. And then I went and just did it in one step. Well, really 2 steps. I guess doing this subtraction was really 1 step, and then I can come back and figure it out this way. Another way would have been to figure out 65% of 59. Again, I'm using a percent equation. I could have just as well used a percent proportion. Figure out what that is, and then once I got that answer, subtract it from 59, and it would have still ended up being $20.65. So there are a number of ways to go about doing these problems. I'll let you choose the one that best suits you, but make sure you understand the question, and when you're done, you're actually answering the question. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have an excellent, excellent day, and let me know if there are any questions or problems. Bye-bye.